Hello, everybody. My name is Lewis Lee, and this is Plan and Traffic. We do this every Thursday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. We talk about cars, boats, trucks, anything you put gas in, we talk about it. Tonight, we got my man Alan coming on from FAB. He is also one of my partners on PowerTube TV. So you can go over and check us out on PowerTube TV. You can download the app, or you can go to the Facebook channel or YouTube channel. You can catch us there. You can also see all of our reruns from Plan and Traffic on our website, which is planandtraffic.com. And if you want to support our channel and get some sweet swag like this hat, you can get it from planandtraffic.com. We're trying to be legit with a logo and everything. Look at that. So let's see. The car industry. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about some fabricating. Alan is one of the top dogs in metal fabricating. So we can get him on and see what he has going on in his shop. What's up, Alan?
How's it going, man?
Oh man, just trying to be like you.
Shoot. You don't want to, man, not right now. You don't want to be like me.
Yeah, I know you're putting in some hours. Tell the people what you're working on.
Yeah, no, right now, if we're, like you said a while ago, we share PowerTube, we're a team with there. And I have that show, SoFab, School of Fabrication, and I'm building a 1962 Dodge. And this Dodge, it's, it started off as like, all right, I'm just going to body work it, do a little bit of primer work. And now it's turned into something totally crazy.
Yeah. That's it behind you, right?
Yeah, that's it right here.
Sweet. So,
yeah, that's it right here. Yeah, I'm still here. It's about almost, it's 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock in Texas. You're in Texas.
Yep.
So,
8 o'clock Texas time. So I've got a couple more hours. Let the sun come down.
Yeah, cool off a little bit.
Yep. Hopefully.
So what made you want to do a Dodge, or is it a customer?
Well, this Dodge belongs to a customer of mine. Real good friend of mine also. His name is Kevin. And he's just been a good dude, man. You know what I mean? And we started talking about doing this truck. And I think we started off talking about building a console for it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And now it's ended up as a full, pretty much frame off. We're banging it out right now. Currently, I'm working on floors. I do make my own sheet metal floors instead of ordering them. It's kind of easier to just, make them. Plus, there's a little more guarantee on the quality of metal. Maybe the work, depends if you trust me. But it seems to be going pretty good, though. I'm very thankful.
Good. So, how long is the build going to take, or how long have you been working on it?
Well, I've been working on this thing for a minute, you know what I mean? I'm a one-man show, and, at first we're kind of just like, well, we'll kind of pace it out. But now we have a little bit of pressure on us to try to get this thing finished. We have a couple of deadlines that we have to meet, and one being more important than the other, but we have to meet them,
Right.
At the end of the day, really it's just that one deadline. Once we meet that one deadline, the second one will be easy. It's just, we currently made plans to take this to SEMA, which was a surprise to me. My wife Laura and I, excuse me?
I didn't say nothing.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say my wife Laura and I, we teamed up. She quit nursing and she's been helping me do all the editing and the producing, and we found all this paperwork we can print out and kind of write our stuff out, and it's helped out so much.
Right.
So we, she's she's been a nurse her whole career, so for her to see it on paperwork is what she needs.
Mhm.
It, it helps to keep it a lot organized, and she's doing a great job. And we're just trying to grow together now. She's trying to help me out and kind of
Right.
help me push.
That's good, man. That's great. It's good to have somebody behind you, man. Have your wife behind you.
Yeah, no, it really is, and she's been behind me for a super long time because I'd never been able to travel as much as I did if she wasn't at home
Right.
taking care of the kids, working. So I'm super appreciative, and I'm glad that now it's kind of paying back. You
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
what I mean? So,
Really nice.
yeah.
So let everybody know what your shop name is, and give them your info.
Yeah, well, right now we're located in Lubbock, but we are actually um, we're putting a building up. A good friend of mine has a real brand new building that he's putting up. We're just waiting for a few permits for us to move in, but we're actually going to move back to Magnolia, where we used to live.
Okay.
And when we move out there, we'll still be the SoFab, but we're going to be the Sons of Fabrication because we really want to push sheet metal as much as possible.
Hmm.
You figure if I'm able to make a few things out of this shop with minimum tools in my big shop, whenever I have all my tools, access to everything, then I should be able to make some pretty cool stuff. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. I know you do good work. What do you have a web? You don't have a website yet. What's your social media?
Yeah, my social media is, man, I have to remember. I
Well, you know
really,
what? I'll put it
I
in
try to remember them.
I'll put it in the chat, and then people can go there and look at it.
Okay, yeah. No, I try to remember them, but now that my wife's jumped on, she's kind of like taken over my
Mhm.
whole social media, which is great because, I don't have to sit there and be doing it all the time.
Right.
She can keep it updated. So it's hard. It's hard for me to. It's been a while since I've actually got on there
Right.
and
Right.
did some stuff. But yeah, no, no, super cool.
So tell us a little bit about the Dodge. Now, Dodge is like a rare beast for that year, or any years around that. So you're running into some different stuff, huh?
No, it really is. This thing is, the guy be very careful with it. We talked about I wanted to cut it up right away.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, let's keep the body stock. And I'm like, man, we can change the tail lights, lower the roof just a little,
Yeah.
and he's like, no, no, you're scaring me. And I'm just like, dude, I'm telling you.
We'll cut
But,
it.
at the end of the day, I got to respect his decision and his vision. You know what I
Right.
mean? 'Cause we all have our own visions for our own cars. So, um, you know, I think the route that we're taking it, I think it's going to be super nice. We recently have got QA1 to, you know, we bought QA1 front and rear, clips,
Mhm.
and hopefully they'll be good. So,
Right. Right.
and not hard to install. So no, the front clip I believe is all bolt-on, so it should
Yeah.
be
I think so.
super awesome. So right now my job is just getting it all cleaned up, and we're having to scrape the frame and pour 15 the entire frame.
Right. Right. Dude, that stuff ain't no joke. 415.
No,
Um,
it's not. Look, I've had it on for 2 days, and look, it's all right here.
oh yeah, yeah, you're hit.
Yeah, and this is day two, and I scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed, and it just wouldn't come off.
I got some on me too, under my nail, like one of my nails. I just used it the other day on the bus.
I'm gonna have to
Um,
wear some gloves.
yeah, Stacy David hooked me up with something, right? And he said, "Don't get it on you, man, because it won't come off till your skin falls off." And he wasn't kidding, man. That stuff's no joke.
Yeah, I didn't realize it. I thought I was in control, and then I just got out of hand, and next thing you know,
It's
it's all
everywhere.
right.
So
But it
poor,
was late at night when I
so
did
poor
it. So
15. Yeah, yeah. So poor 15 is paint over rust, and I'm letting the people know in the chat. paint over rust. And if you have anything that got surface rust, you just knock off the chips, man, and paint that stuff on, and it's like metal. It hardens up.
Yep.
The only
No, it really
bad,
is. You know, this Port 15, it says not to shake it. You have to stir it with some stir sticks.
yeah,
And we got a DA and kind of DA'd the frame down and kind of, knocked all the edges down with some wire brushes. So we got it pretty clean.
mm-hmm.
But once we put the Port 15 on it, and we brushed it on, we didn't paint it.
Yeah,
I didn't sit there and mask everything off. I just put a piece of plastic on the floor and went to town with the brush.
Yeah.
But the finish came out super nice.
Yeah, self levels.
Yup, self levels.
So I put it on all my frames that I'm putting under the bus, like my water tank frame. So I just painted that the other day. But man, this stuff's no joke, and it gets hard like a coating over top of your metal. So yeah, it's good stuff.
Yep, skin too.
Yeah, like man. You won't have to worry about it rusting.
Right. Hope y'all don't rust from the inside.
Yeah, the only bad thing about it, the gallon cans, the lids are real flimsy, man. Once you take it off, you can't put it back on. I mean, you can put it on, but it don't seal up. So I lost like a half a can because the top layer got hard.
Oh, wow. I ordered a gallon, but when they sent it to me in 4 quarts. So I kind of appreciated that they sent it that way. Now, thinking about that, because that is true. The stuff gets hard in there. Once it gets hard in there, no. But this one trick that I did learn when I was at Winfield's is when you get your paint can and you open it. Hey, what's up, man?
Hey.
You just sit there and poke some holes, in it and kind of tilt it a little bit, and it'll all drip down the little holes that you poke in there with the nail.
Yeah.
Normally use something real small, and it seems to work pretty good. I do it here too,
Alan, yeah. What you want to do though, and the wife yells at me all the time because the extra, when you all you gotta do is lay some plastic saran wrap and then put the lid back on. That way it won't seal the lid. It won't glue the lid down onto the plastic, and then keep it in the freezer.
Oh, really?
If you keep it in the freezer, it won't dry out.
Huh.
So, and that way, because what happens actually, the problem is when you got a gallon can or even a pint, it has air in it, and that air will start activating. But when you freeze it, it won't do. I've had stuff for 3 or 4 months, and when I'm in the middle of doing, like between my Mustang, the Audi, the tool truck, or whatever,
right?
I just go in and I keep the brush wrapped up in a saran wrap. And it's funny because everyone, like I said, the wife comes down and goes, "Why is there a Port 15 in the freezer?"
Right.
And that's where you keep it, and that way it stays, and it'll last longer. And that thing, of course, the only thing on the Port 15, it's not UV protected, so you got to be careful that way because it will turn if you're in this, a lot of sun, especially. Down there in Texas or whatever, you get a lot of sunlight. The UV's not. It's not UV protected, and it will kind of turn a little bit on color. So you have to be careful with that.
Oh, okay. What about heat? Like, say if I did the firewall.
Oh no, you're good. You're good on that.
Okay,
that's not a problem. Like I said, but. I see so many guys lose a lot of Port 15 because, like you said, a big thing is they shake the can. That's scary when they start shaking because you get that air build up in there,
right?
And that's what happens. That's kinds of I don't want to say activates, but that gets things going. That's why you stir it and so forth.
Nice.
And when you get but like I said, if you want to save, especially if a gallon is a big boy to carry around. But if you just take the saran wrap, putting the holes and so forth is good to get the excess. Right. But if you put the saran wrap and then you put the lid on and tap it on, That way it won't stick. It won't bond itself. It's the plastic that bonds to it. You know, the saran wrap.
The saran wrap.
And
No, that's
sometimes you can't get those lids off when they stick.
No, they're super hard, and you end up bending them, and
and the lid is real flimsy.
Yeah,
it's kind of odd. But I went to Home Depot and bought one of those rubber cans with the. So I poured it in there. It's working pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, okay. But like I said, when you want, you can just stash it in the freezer, and that way when you need it, then you can go right back to it, and it keeps it from getting hard and drying out.
Nice.
But the first time I had that problem, the first time, and the guy I bought it from, it was I'm a Matco tool distributor, and he's a distributor of that stuff to body shops. Mm-hmm. And I run into him on the road, and we were talking, and he was like, "Oh yeah, just pop it in the freezer, dude, because it dry." Because I said the shelf life, once the air's gotten in, it's not very long. And he said, because I had bought another can from him, and he was like, "It wasn't that long ago," and I said, "Yeah, I left it. I didn't get back to it, and I couldn't get the can off, and I was fighting it, and blah,
Well, so, when I opened my can, it had a layer of over the top, and it was hard, and I couldn't break it. I ended up cutting it with my Sawzall, cutting a hole out. So
oh wow!
I mean, it was probably a 1/4 inch thick, and that stuff was hard, man. I was hitting it with a hammer.
That air gets in there. That's when they, like I said, that starts to get activated or whatever, and right. That's why you have to kind of plan it out when you're starting. It's not like, okay, I'll do this week, and maybe 2 weeks from now I want to do the other part. You get when you want to, especially if you want to stay clean to the point where you're not like you, Alan, got it all over you, because you'll be like that if you don't plan it out, you'll be like that for 6 months.
Yeah. No, very true. And and the situation was, I'm making these floors for this truck, and I make them out of 18 gauge, and it's kind of a big deal to some people. So what we did is once I cut the floor out, we went on ahead and cleaned the whole frame while there was no floor on the passenger side.
Yeah.
Once we got it cleaned out, I went to brushing because I was ready to put my sheet metal on. I had already made the pieces already. Yeah. I was waiting on the frame getting clean.
Yeah. Do you, I guess you're doing, when you were cleaning the frame and stuff, was it just old school with a wire brush and wire wheel and just, elbow grease, or do you do any kind of blasting or media stuff?
No, I wish. No, since the body's on it, we did just a DA and a wire brush. I do have a wire wheel on a cordless drill,
Yeah.
But we're kind of limited, we're kind of limited on some tools in here.
Yeah.
We work with what we have.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, you could do a lot with little. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, some guys, they got to have the right tool. I mean, not the right tool. They got to have the special tool to do the one job one time. And it's like, right. Dude, if you just use this or did that, but again, there are just people like that,
Right. And, and I do have a YouTube, and it's that one I do know. It's the FAB Corp 806. And on that YouTube channel, I'm building a truck, and I'm using basic tools, as basic as you can get. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And when you're taught by one of the masters,
yeah.
I mean, Gene used rocks and sticks. I mean, he was like us when we were kids. I mean, not it's nothing against that. It's like they said, when I went out and played in the backyard, we played with dirt, rocks, and sticks. You tell my kids to do that today, they look at you like you have two heads. You know what I'm saying? I mean, your imagination, what you find to make your job, to make the job done,
No, exactly. And that's kind of the situation here. Sometimes I have to make some weird bends, and I'm like, shoot, I've only got a few little tools that I've got to work with, and luckily, we've been able to make it happen.
Yeah.
How,
I was in a shop one time, and the guy was trying to do something. Of course, he's asking about all these dies and all this stuff, and I was like, dude, just go over there and get the lid to the acetylene torch. The round lid, the top of the lid. And he's looking at me like, oh, I guess that would work. And I was like, dude, you gotta, put some Pink Floyd, roll a little joint, and you gotta think of what you got. It's
Right.
sometimes
You
you gotta
get a little
think.
creative.
Yeah, you gotta be a little creative, and unfortunately, there are some people that aren't, and that's, and then you got guys like me that here I know that I can do that, but getting these to do what this wants to do is, it takes time and practice and getting that done. And, that's kind of hard to, get that down. It just doesn't, you have to work at it.
Yeah.
Right. Very true.
So speaking of Gene, how's he doing?
Man, I'm kind of like everyone else. I just hear what's going on the media. The last time I saw Gene was the last time I went out to work with Ian. I didn't go this year because they canceled the show this year. So, but for the last 2 years that I'd been going to Ian's, I would stop by and see Gene.
Right.
But yeah, I don't have like his phone number anymore or anything.
Right. So no.
Yeah, it's all kind of weird. It's kind of screwy what's going on.
Yeah. I had to I got unfriended, and then I tried to re-add as a friend. I didn't even do that, so I don't know. But yeah, no, it's all good. He's doing good from what I hear.
Yeah.
And he's a strong old man that I'm telling you, he's superhuman. And I've seen him in person. And I'm going to root for him forever, you know what I mean? Because I know that he's a really good person at heart, and he means well. So,
right.
They're out there, Gene.
Yeah, we've been praying for him, sure.
Yeah, we'll be praying for him.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's amazing. I was just talking to a customer tonight before I left, and like I said, it's once in a blue moon that you really get to work with somebody in that trade. I mean, I've been lucky to work with a few guys, and when I was turning wrenches,
right.
And like I said, if you're it's sometimes later in life when you get older, you're like, man, I wish I paid attention.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you could have learned a lot. And then sometimes it comes luckily. This is even before I turned wrenches. This is when I was in high school. A buddy of mine, his dad was a general contractor, but he was one of the last guys in the Washington, D.C. area that did plaster work.
Oh, nice.
Plaster work in houses and so forth. And I remember working, when we were working, making molds and then mixing up the plaster and then, doing, chair rails or ceiling stuff. And I sit there.
Cool stuff.
Yeah, really cool. I mean, Art Deco, I mean, nobody does that stuff today.
No.
And if you find something that when you find somebody that needs that work done,
right,
there is nobody, or you're paying through the arm, because there's just not a lot of people that do it, or they want to, put a prefab something on there, and it just doesn't look the same.
Right.
But I was like, I sit there, and of course, Art was a great guy, and I was like, dude, I really wish, of course, being a kid, man, I wish I paid attention because just the stuff that you could have picked up,
I know. I was kind of late to start paying attention too, but No, I totally get it. I mean, I really do, because when I met Gene in 2013, I really, honestly, I'd known about him. I'd seen him in magazines. My dad, I grew up reading magazines, and I always knew who Gene Winfield was.
Uh-huh.
And when I saw him, it blew my mind, and I just said, "Are you Gene Winfield?" And he said, "Well, yes, I am." And man, I'm telling you, I was dead and reborn again right there, because
Yeah.
I honestly thought somebody who was a legend when I was a kid, he was a legend.
Right.
And I'm reading about him, and well, he was a legend, so I thought he was gone. So
Yeah.
when I met him, it was just mind blowing. So I don't know, some kind of like positive vibe. 2 years later, I'm working with him at Autorama, chopping the top, and that's really what started it. Because I followed him after that.
Right.
Yo,
That's a great experience.
Yeah, that
it's a lot of work, a lot of
that
free
was
work.
like it was funny because this was years and years and years ago. We were at World of Wheels. Me and a buddy were at World of Wheels, and it was the same experience basically. I'm walking by and I look over and there's this guy sitting on a toolbox, one of those little handheld toolbox things,
Oh
guy
yeah.
just sitting there, in between two tables. And I was like, to my buddy, I was like, hey, that's Big Daddy. That's Big Daddy Roth.
Oh wow.
And he's like, who? And I'm like, wow, and I was like, hey, aren't you Big Daddy? And he was like, yeah, man, what's up? And it was like
Wow.
everybody's just like walking by. But like you said, when you see
Yeah.
a guy, and like I said, going through all the magazines and reading about those cars, and just like I said, having that image, like I said, and you trying to do stuff or that type, it was just really incredible having that opportunity to run into somebody like that,
Right.
and
Oh yeah.
it's a lost art. And there's people like you that have learned bits and pieces and that can carry that on, just like you're doing to that Dodge or whatever, or any other cars that you ever touch. It's just a lost art. And there's some people that will never understand that. And then there's people like us that kind of babble about it on and on because it's important. It's art, it's a form of
Right.
art.
Yeah, and it really is, a lost art. Like my wife was a nurse for 20 years, and she spent all her 20 years in a nursing home. She worked with, a resident there at a nursing home that was one of the original ladies that were doing sheet metal work. They had an English wheel, and they're sitting there making panels. They were panel makers, and they would sit there and roll them out and then rivet them in. And it was just cool, like hearing these stories of where it began.
Yeah.
And nowadays, it's very hard to find um, anybody doing any kind of panel rolling or anything. You know what I mean? And I'm really trying to push just with some simple, basic tools that you can make these pieces. And people don't have to buy. I mean, some pieces are complicated, but once you kind of get the feel of it,
Yeah.
just keep pushing. You know what I mean? Until you figure it out.
I,
You'll
I tell
figure it
you,
out if you just stay focused on it. You know what I mean?
I tell you, when I was working on my transition part of the bus, so it curves from the front, like at an angle like this, so it curves down the side, but it
Mm-hmm.
also curves towards the front too. So I bent it on. I used a pole, and I bent my metal that way, and did some hammer work. I had a great guy, a great tool guy, sent me some hammers, so I used those, and
Oh yeah.
it's a learning experience, man. I didn't get it. I didn't get it 100%, but I got it to where it's. I mean, you really got to look at it to see the flaws. But
Right.
man, I tell
You
you what,
know,
I learned a lot.
yeah, and when you do collision work, I did collision for 10 years also. That kind of what got me started. But when you do collision work and you get like a T-bone or something, and you put that thing on the frame machine, you actually have to pull everything out And once it's where it's kind of supposed to be, or pretty much where it's supposed to be, and then you cut out the old stuff and put the new stuff on.
Oh,
Because
really?
yeah, if you cut it out and try to sit there and fix it, man, no, good luck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
So
yeah.
you kind of get a lot of practice. You know what I mean? That's what I was trying to say. Is
I
that
would
you do
never
get
imagine that.
a lot of practice of pulling some stuff out. So
Mhm.
I still use it till this day, pulling dents. If I can push it out or pull it out, then I'm gonna try it that way.
Yeah. See, I would have cut it out. Anything I worked on, I cut it out.
Yeah. You kind of it's like I tell you, the body shops that I go to on my route, and a lot of times those guys, I'll be standing there looking, and they're like, "What's up?" And I was like, "Dude, it just amazes me how you take a chunk of a car out, and then you just put it right back in.
Yeah.
It's amazing of doing stuff like that, and especially now. I mean." Back in the old days when it was just like you said, steel, when you just, a little bit of heat and beating and banging on it. But now you have either you have aluminum and steel, and then you have plastic fenders. I mean, some of those stuff has like, ABS plastic fenders that you're gluing stuff on instead of actually welding or anything. It's amazing how many different components now are on a car that
Yeah,
way.
no, it really is. Even watching the videos of on YouTube, they show how they build the 1955 Chevy, and they show you the factory. And in the beginning, there's 17,000 parts to build one 55 Chevy, and you're like, wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, I always find that just like I said, and it's funny because when as a guy that's selling somebody tools, I try to see what the next thing is that they need. And it's funny when, it's like, well, you don't sell welders anymore. Now you're selling glue activators, or, you're selling stuff to, you had to glue in metal floor versus welding because of the bonding strength or whatever. It's just really amazing. The technology has changed on that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, and thank goodness too, because
It's like when my Mustang, and the guy said, "Yeah, you strip the car down and bring it to me, and I'll paint it." Well, as a kid, I didn't know, and next thing you know, I'm stripping the car down, and then I got to where the lead joints. Well, I'm picking the lead out because it's coming out. So, of course, I take it to the guy, and the guy goes, "What the hell did you do to the car?" And I took all the lead out. And now he goes, "Now you got to find a lead guy to put it all back in." I don't do that type of stuff,
Wow.
So
right.
luckily I had an older guy that did a lot of lead work, and he did it, and we had to put it all back in. And of course, we went one step further, and that's when we let it in the doors and let it in the locks. And so it's she's smooth on the side, but
Yeah.
again, like I said, you shouldn't be afraid, because that's the only way you're going to learn, even if you kind of mess things up a little bit. At least you can still fix it.
Right.
You might have to take the long way to do it.
Somebody to fix it.
That's
Yeah,
very
we'll
true.
pay somebody. Yeah.
Right.
What's up, Coach?
Hey guys, I want to introduce y'all to my wife.
Oh yeah. All right.
She's my manager. She's my,
The boss. It's okay. Just say it how it is. You got the boss there.
I wish I was the boss. I wish. It's quite an experience.
Yeah. I'll send you a bigger hammer. Don't worry. That way you can knock some sense into it.
I know. I just carry my rolling pin around with me.
That's it. That's all it takes.
Well, thanks for coming on. We appreciate you and now being on.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Hey, do you take that rolling pin and tell him, do you want tortillas or do you want a headache?
That's right. Shoot. Now there's no time for tortillas. He doesn't get them fresh no more.
No more, huh?
I know how that
No,
is.
I mean, between editing and then filming, and I gave up Well, I have my license, but I stopped working in nursing to come do this full time, and now I'm jumping in helping him now that we especially have a deadline on this truck, and There's all.
So how much sanding
merchandise.
how much sanding have you done?
Oh, I've gotten compliments from his dad that my sanding is better.
No, she's good.
No, we're in September. We'll be married for 20 years, and I've sanded. He's had a shop ever since we've been married.
Oh
so
yeah,
that's how long these arms have sanded.
yeah.
The best labor is free labor.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, as long as you get your nails done every once in a while, it's good.
Oh, not in this shop.
Hopefully.
I lost a toenail working in this shop.
Oh, that's terrible.
A hood, yeah.
Yeah.
Through my shoe.
Wow.
Awful.
Yeah.
Cuts. I have all kinds of cuts. I don't even know where I got them from.
Yeah, that metal's sharp. That's one thing.
Yeah.
Playing around. I've done a lot. I want to. Like I said, there's a few things I want to tweak on my car, and playing around with that metal is can be tricky. Like I said, and just when you're getting ready to give up or say, I think this is okay, you'll say, I got to keep beating on it. You know what I'm saying? So get it just the way it looks right. You know.
Yep.
Usually when you're close, it still needs about another half hour beating on it.
Right? No, I know. That's a true story. And seeing with this trick, like I really don't have time for that, so I kind of just I'll grab something and pry it where I need it, and then tack it, and I'm like, all right, let's keep rolling. Tack it, and then I'll hammer and dolly it, and then I'll tack it and hammer it. So
yeah,
it's been quite a venture so far.
That's awesome. A true art. Really is.
Yeah. It is. It definitely is. And it's good that you have somebody that helps. I mean, because like I said, it's hard being a one-man show. You know, like I said, getting in there, and even if it's like you said, even if you don't think it means anything or really put into it, it really does help out. So that's good.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Hey, so I got a question. The tortillas. Yes. I've never had no homemade tortillas. Now
okay,
I know how to make no tortillas.
Okay, hold on, but let me say, I cannot make them like his mom. However, I can make them because this spoiled child right here. I can make homemade corn and flour. So if we meet up, I got you. I'll do homemade.
Sweet.
That's awesome. Now you're making me hungry. Come on.
Now they're not round. They may be different shapes, but edible all the way.
That sounds good.
My wife, her family, they're of German descent. I mean, she's American, but they're of German descent. And my mom said she can make them as good as my nana. And same thing though, they're not round, they're not perfectly round. Yeah. And then the best part is she made a whole bunch, and me and the kids attacked them, and then she goes, I put all that work and they're gone already. So the next time she made them, we didn't touch them. And of course, fresh tortillas, they don't last. You can't leave them there on the counter for like a week. And then she was like, well, now they went all bad. And we were like, you told us not to touch them. But the fact that we tore into them the way we did, it was good.
Yeah. I enjoy cooking though. And, and for me, like, especially when we had kids, like it was, you got to cook, and you couldn't take him out to eat all the time. And so it was just something that we all did. And dinner time was a big thing for us. We made the kids, disconnect off the phones. And so, yeah, cooking was always something that I enjoyed. So.
But the only thing I can say, if possible, make sure you keep your license with your nursing.
Oh, I worked hard for my license. I won't.
Yeah, I know. I know. I know it sounds kind of funny, but I've had friends and family members. They'll say, "Oh, it's okay. I'll get back." And then of course, who knows what happens in 5 years?
Yeah.
And getting back to that, that's like I said. Then you're like, man, you're starting over from scratch, and then of course, the way government is. They change stuff around and it makes it difficult. So if possible, try to make sure you hold on to that.
No, I worked super hard for my license, and that's something like I would never want to give up. And but I have taken breaks because it is something that's super hard. It's nursing is not hard, but the heart part of it is hard, and so I had to take a break. And even when we lived out at Jean's, I didn't. Well, I mean, I took care of Jean, but that's not really like a nursing. But we were out there for a little over a year and a half, where I think I was. And so I've taken a couple of breaks, and I went back into nursing, and then now that we've had this opportunity, but he really needs the help, and we were able to make it happen. And it was like, I'd rather be here, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So, but
yeah, no, it's just one of those things. You know, it's just like I said, with turning wrenches, and you know, I had ASC certifications and all that stuff, and letting that elapse. Now I can go back and take those tests, but now, you know, when I did it, the tests were $25 a piece. Now they want, you know, $200 or what, you know, the right. Testing, and just instead of keeping it current and everything.
Yes.
You know, like I said, it's just something that you worked for, and I don't, you know, completely give that up, because you never know. And that's a great field to be in. I know it can be stressful, like you said, on your heart. I mean, on your feelings, but that's awesome, though. That's
my
awesome.
My daughter's starting nursing school this next month.
Nice.
Yeah, she just finished her 3 years at the university, and now she got accepted to nursing school. So,
man, congratulations! Yes, that's awesome.
Really excited, happy for her. So.
No, yeah, you need good people out there, you know, and good nurses that are heart, you know, have that heart and want to care, and you know, but it was cool to do something different, because I'd always worked on cars, but now to kind of be in a different role and kind of grow, or we're, you know, going in a different direction.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
I can't wait to get down to Texas. I want to for sure stop through.
Oh yeah.
So how big is that building?
Yeah, we want to see the
bus. I want to see your bus. I need to see it. Need to tour it. We need to get some I need to get the inspiration.
So I think we're gonna leave. We're gonna leave here probably the first week of October, and work our way over to SEMA. So I'm not sure if we're gonna go down, come across 10. You know, I don't know yet. We gotta plan that out, but we'll for sure get down there. I got some family in Dallas.
Okay. We're not too far. We can shoot out there. My sister's out there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be down there.
Out of it. I'll bring you some tortillas.
Hey, look, I ain't prejudiced on no food.
Hey, I like to bake too.
Yeah.
I like to bake too. I'll hook you up.
I think we might have had some Spanish people in our family somewhere down the line, because I love the culture. I love, like, I've talked to Alan and Coach that, man, I love the lowriders. I love the whole, you know what I mean? Food, culture. I'm a brother, so I don't know what happened. So somewhere down the line, we had some nice.
Yeah, you sent that video the other day, all the cultural Hispanic things, and my response back was either they did it in my family or my cousins, like the extended family. It all reminisced to me. Especially the biggest part was the Vicks for everything.
Yeah, it was funny, man. But see, you know, in the black families too, we do the same stuff. It's just, you know, a little bit, you know, just a touch off, but the same, like chicken, you know, the same stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then for me, like, I got to experience the Mexican culture because I'm Filipino. So when I met Alan and I met his family, and like his mom, like, she taught me how to cook for him. But you know, but just the way, like, you know, as accepting as they are, the culture is so beautiful, and I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, but I think at the end of the day, it's just all love. You know what I mean? It's just all love.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's good.
People miss out on other races because they don't know them. You know what I mean? See, when I grew up, there was everybody in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? I grew up with everybody, so it was weird moving to another neighborhood that just had like all black or just all white or just, you know what I mean? It was kind of weird. But and once people get to know you and enjoy your side of the culture, you know what I mean? Like I grew up with some guys across the street from me that ate halushki and pierogies. You know what I mean? So if I didn't live in that neighborhood, I would never ate that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I learned a lot from other races, man. And people really miss out on a lot of stuff.
A lot of good food too.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And being in the car industry too, I mean, you start to meet a lot of people. I was doing a show down in West Virginia, so I booked a celebrity for a show down there. So we were down there, and we were leaving the hotel, and there was a beautiful 34 Vicky, beautiful car, right? So I'm looking at it. My wife's like, "Come on, I'm ready to go home." I was like, "Man, look, hold on, I gotta look at this car." So the guy comes out, right? So I start talking to him, and he said, "Oh yeah, my name is John Hatfield." And so, you know, I'm not thinking, and you know, I'm still looking at the car. My wife was like, she's looking at me. She goes, "You know where we're at, right?" I was like, "Yeah." And he started laughing because he caught it. He goes, "Yeah, my grandfather was the Hatfield and McCoys, and he was the Hatfield, and his grandfather was the person that what's his name played in the movie." What's his name? They played Hatfield McCoys. I can't think of his name.
The original where the feud started.
Yeah. So this guy's grandfather was that guy, right? That he played in the movie. So
wow, that's crazy.
He ends up sending me pictures. I'm a big cowboy fan. I love cowboy stuff, right? So he sends me pictures of the family. I got them in my phone somewhere. I got them somewhere in the computer, but he sent me actual pictures of the family of the Hatfields. It was pretty slick, man. I was like, oh, wow. And that's what I mean. With the car industry, you meet all types of people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And prejudice is out the window when you're looking at a car that you love, or you know what I mean, you talk and people like, you know, I talk to a lot of people like, man, I was prejudiced before I met you. And I see that you're the same as me. And it's just ignorant. You know what I mean? It's just that they
I
don't
totally
know.
get it too, because I mean I've met some of the nicest people and had conversations and dinners with some of the nicest people that I never thought I'd be sitting next to. And they've never looked at me judgmental or anything like that. You know, they've always I guess respected what I did for a living. So it's the industry is just full of super nice people.
Really is. Yep. Yep. Love it. And now that the internet's opened up the world, now, you know, you're in Texas, Coach is in Arizona, Brian, DC. I mean, and I consider these guys really good friends. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
you know what I mean? The internet opened up the world for the car industry.
We can all just chop it up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And shoot, when we go to SEMA and we meet up, man, you know, that's the beautiful thing. You're like, oh man, I've been talking to this guy for 3 years, and now I'm meeting him. You know, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Now it's interesting, like, because a lot of the, like, jumping into the world, and like when we even like with Jamie and Ian and a lot of the people that we met through that, like, yeah, like you're talking on Facebook and Instagram and you feel closer to these people and you have like such this relationship, and sometimes it's just we've only ever talked through messaging.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and it's super neat to, you know, but it's the community. The car community has always been so embracing, and I've always loved that about it.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, that's why. True. Yeah, that's why I kind of put this together. This plan of traffic. We're on our 10th year. This is our 10th anniversary in September.
Nice.
So the reason I put this together is to bring people together from all over. You know what I mean? Like even like guys that build cars in the garage. You know, to guys that build cars for, you know, the Ring brothers. You know what I mean? I try to bring everybody together so everybody has a chance to get a different flavor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
You kind of get stuck in your own little bubble, and So that's why I put Planet Traffic together, and it's been a
Right.
blessing
See,
for me.
exactly. And like I think, and I'm glad that I'm able to help a little bit also, like with our content that we do. I mean, we try to get pretty detailed in how we do things, step by step. And sometimes we do have to cut down a lot of content because we can't just show it all. I
Right.
mean, we'd be there forever, if you sit there and just show exactly what it takes. So,
I'm sorry, Alan.
yeah, yeah.
That's one of the things that used to drive me crazy. When you watched like uh going back a couple years, like the Power Block, on
Mhm.
Saturday morning, on Sunday
Right.
morning or Saturday morning, because it was awesome because you see those guys and they're working on stuff and they're building, but there was they skip or they jump, and the problem is that, and this is where we've come to with the internet, because a lot of those shows have moved on to like your own YouTube page, YouTube channel and so forth,
Exactly.
because a lot of guys, you know, they had a producer and they were just looking for a certain amount of content and it was jumping, and they didn't understand that there's guys like me and Coach and everybody else. They want to see the fundamentals, or how did you get to that? Or, I want to, like I said, I watched this guy on YouTube with a Quattro. I have an 87 Quattro Audi that I'm kind of trying to put back together and doing stuff. And he actually made it a sport version. So he cut, a foot out of the car and shortened it. And I was like, that's awesome. But he actually showed how he got the center line and laid that stuff down. I know
Yeah.
most people would have been like, this is boring, but I'm like, I'm glad I saw how he did that. Or a guy
Right.
taken, and that's hard, and sometimes you might get lost a little bit in that, but that's what a lot of people want to see, that type of content,
Yeah.
That's who we're hoping to reach. For the people, like, they want to learn how to, or they want to find, a way to get around whatever situation they're facing. And it's a little bit more in real time. And to fast forward it, there's so much of an art that you lose out in that. And then you don't give that credit, and it's not this fast, like glorified process. Like, it's a lot of like small, tedious work.
It was like what I was watching one of my guys. He was standing, and these are just regular guys. They're making a living. They're working at a collision shop. These aren't guys restoring a car to say. But it was funny. I think I drove him crazy a little bit because I was watching him standing on the body line on a car, and he laid some tape down, and he's sanding. I was like, well, why are you doing it? He goes, well, I want to keep this line sharp. See, nobody would ever talk about that or say that.
Right.
And, I'm like, well, now I understand why I went through 2 gallons of plastic, because every time I was sanding, I took the edge off, and then I had to, you're adding, take it off, you're adding, you're taking it on. I was like, well, dude, if somebody would said just lay a tape line, and that way you clean all, you're sanding on one side and you're keeping the line, these are things that you have to learn, but you need somebody teaching you that, and that's where, you guys come in, show your experience and pass. A lot of people, a lot of older guys don't want to share because they think they're going to be replaced. But then that's when the art dies, because nobody gives the information on.
Right. And
We actually got a comment on that, like on Facebook. He had shared because we made a flyer, like if somebody wanted to host a chop class or if they wanted their car chopped, just to kind of reach out for us. And the first comment on there was, yeah, right. So I want to teach someone how to do my job so I lose money. And it was like, and Alan's response was great, because it was like, it's bigger than that. It's bigger than me and you. You know what I mean? This is, it's an art. And in the car industry, I looked last year alone in 23, 58 billion was spent in the car industry on accessorizing, customizing. They kind of, it's a big umbrella, but 58 billion. That's enough for everyone to eat at a bountiful table and still like be kind to others in the industry. Be like, hey, there's enough food for all of us to eat. Like, you don't have to eat at my table, but here's your table. And and that's where even like when we had our shop, we had a bunch of people working in, And as they'd move up, when they'd want to like rank up, he would finally get them to a point where some of them were like, you should go open your own shop now. Like, you're at that point. It was encouraging people to go out and be the best that they could be. It's not about being selfish and keeping all that art. Like, if Gene Winfield went and he kept all of his information to himself, how much of a great loss would that be to the world?
Oh yeah, no, what? Like I said, it's
What's up, guys?
Hey, Keith, it was funny. I had a guy come out today, and he said, "Oh, you lost." He goes, "You put the." He goes, "You lost the competition. You lost one of your competitors. You know, one of another a mobile tool guy. Folded up." And I was like, oh, "That's really bad. I'm sorry for the guy." And he was shocked. He looked at me and goes, "You should be happy." And I was like, "No, dude. There's enough for everybody in this business."
And that's somebody how they provide, for their family.
Right. I said, I feel bad. I said, I wish he would have reached out. I would have tried to help him, even though he wears a different flag on his truck.
Right.
Because I said, and he looked at me and I said, look, dude, I said, there's some guys that just going to buy Snap-on. There's some guys that are just going to buy Matco. There's some guys that won't buy anything from us and they'll going to buy from somebody else. Right. I mean, there's so many different, people, and same with Mac or Cornwell or whatever. There's enough for everybody. And
when you go to the beer store, or when you go to the grocery store, you go to the beer section. How many cans of beer are there? How many different kinds of beer can you get now? There's enough room for everybody.
It's really sad. But like I said, I had a customer, and he sold his business, and he was a really good. I would have loved. If I had the opportunity to work under him. I mean, he was a very knowledgeable guy, but he was so wound up about he wouldn't tell anybody anything because he was afraid of being replaced. Yeah. Or put out of business, and I kept telling him, I said, dude, you got, but he unfortunately and luckily he had a heart attack. He lived. I mean, he had a heart attack, but it was amazing how he changed about showing people on how to do stuff. And he, it was that type of thing where, he applied, it was a different thing, a different outlook. And, again, like I said, it's guys like Alan here, you learn from one of the best guys and you will be one of the best guys eventually, Alan. I mean, it's just the stepping stone. That's the way it works. And, but, that knowledge keeps going. And I know I babbled on about it, but it's very important for that to happen for this industry.
And also, I've been blessed also to also train a few guys. A few guys that just stuck with me, and I pushed them as hard as I could. And I would always tell them, "I'm training you guys to be better than me. I want you guys to take this further than I ever could take it."
Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome.
Right.
And and right now they're doing great, and I'm super proud of them, and I'm glad to hear from them every once in a while, and or you see them on social media, and it just makes me proud that they're still keeping it going. And
that's awesome.
Yep, all the time.
Well, it's like for me in coaching, I've had a few former players come and ask if they could volunteer and work with me, and I've had kids that haven't played for me that have wanted to come, and I'm like, if we can get you in, I want to get you in. Let's get you set up and get you moving. Get you some experience, and get you some reference, get you some what you need, and because just like with the car industry, a lot of things are changing in sports too, and then and the thing is. I think in any profession, you'll find people that they're not serious and you can kind of weed them out, or they're just looking for the what they can gain from you and run and then take off. They'll weed themselves out. Right. But the ones that want an experience and that want to learn something, they'll be serious and then it'll come to fruition because again, like with for me with coaching, I want to see other coaches that can do a good job, and and are in it for the right reasons, and the same, and it's the same with anything on cars and stuff. You want the people in it that it can benefit them, it can benefit others, and it keeps the industry going.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just a seed planted in one little kid out there that you never know. That kid could be one of the best builders to ever lived. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's definitely true.
So you said you guys started a little late. I mean, but let's go back a little bit, like when you were a kid and when you were out playing with dirt and rocks and sticks in the yard. You know those times. But you know, did we get into like, you know, was it like for me? You know, I would get a model. You know, and I would build a model the way the box, you know, was. But then
Right.
it was okay, I took it back apart, or you know, it had the car crash, and then all of a sudden now you're adding stuff. I mean, did you just develop that way, or you know, how did you stumble into where you stumbled? I guess.
Well, you know, it's kind of funny you said that because I was just telling Laura the other day that I swear I invented sticking the big wheels in the old cars back in the day because I would take them out of different cars and I would stuff them in there, and none of my cars would roll, but man, it would look cool. You know, it would look super
Yeah.
cool.
Started modifying Hot Wheels.
Yeah, I started modifying little, any cars. I, put body on Chevelle body on a NASCAR.
Yeah.
They were all model cars because I'd give the bodies to my dad, and he would paint them at work and bring them back to me. So I always had cool paint jobs on my model cars.
That's awesome. Yeah. It was funny. My mom, at my mom's house, you know, we've been cleaning out and getting stuff, you know, downsizing, getting stuff together and so forth. And we had came across a whole bunch, you know, of my old model pieces, the boneyard of stuff, you know. So, you know, like I said, I was just curious, you know, how it started for you and how it kept going. If that, I mean, if that was one of the ways or
I
what.
would say model cars. My dad had a whole library full of magazines. My mom would always be so angry because he had so many magazines and still does.
Thousands.
Thousands.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Thousands.
So I grew up reading magazines, just checking out cool stuff. And I mean, there was nothing else to do really in this little country town we grew up in.
Yeah.
It was, yeah, there was a lot of Hot Wheels, a lot of just make believe and hot rod magazines.
So then after that process, what was your first car and what was like the first modification done to it?
Oh man, see, that's hard to say because in high school, we like to race in high school. So I had a 70 Monte Carlo um, that we tried to race. So, I kept blowing the motor up. And my dad would just put another one in and tell me, don't be out there racing. And I'd be like, I'm not racing. And go back out there again and blow it up again.
Yeah,
But,
don't feel bad. I went through high school without a girlfriend because I smelled like 90 weight between blowing up transmissions and rear ends. I was soaked in 90 weight. So I was the stinky kid with 90 weight all over me. So,
right,
you know, don't feel bad.
Yeah, no. So I was very spoiled. I was very spoiled. I also had a Pontiac Fiero that I would drive like Monday through Thursday. Then on Fridays I would drive my '55 Chevy.
Oh,
That
wow.
my dad had painted. Yeah, it was a '55 Bel Air 4-door, two-tone blue. I've got a picture of it, but I'm standing outside of it when, trying to.
Yeah, I love that. I'm a Ford guy. I'm a Ford guy, but I would love to have a 55. I tell you, I would almost do anything to have a 55, even if it was a yard art. I still have to have a 55. So
it's still one of my favorite cars.
Yeah.
So, my top three, I would say a 55 Chevys. Man, they're just tough to not like.
We won't tell Terry about that. I didn't bring that up because,
Terry's
somebody has an issue about that.
So Terry comes on. His question to all the guests are, "What do you like out of the Tri-5?" And he's the 56. I'm the 56. Brian, you're what, the 57?
55.
55.
Yeah.
Yep. Same here, 55.
Man, I'd have to vote 55 too.
Yeah.
Because I don't like the grill on the 56 or the 57.
Yeah.
One of my buddies got a 56, and he was a really good body guy. And his car was so nice, and I just fell in love with it because he did such a good job on it. And he ended up dying early. He had a heart attack at 35 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I had my 55 early, and now I wish I had a 55. Maybe one of these days I'll get one.
I'd love a 51 slammed and chopped.
There you go. Now you talking about style.
51.
Yeah. But just a slight chop to it, not an aggressive chop, just slight with a little bit of a rake.
Yeah, you would like my 53 because whenever I chopped my 53, I only took 2 inches out of the windshield because I wanted it to look natural, you know.
Yeah.
And it looked really good. And then in the back, I had lowered it like 3 inches. And then one day, just playing around, I'm like, let's drop it some more to see what it looks like. And I think we ended up leaving it at 6 inches because it just looked too good. I couldn't raise it up no more. It was like, man, no, that looks too good. So we left it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yep, slow and low.
Slow and low, exactly.
Yeah, one day when I grow up, I'll get something.
Right. Yeah. This is still in the works. Hopefully, when I sell my Charger, I can start focusing on this 53. That's the plan.
Yeah.
So I just have to move. Whatever.
Well, that's awesome, Alan. Like I said, I just really admire you guys. You know, it's funny. When I was growing up, my dad was you know, he had you know, his job was in the government, but you know, he would come home and he had a very nice woodworking shop. You know, he had all the saws and all the drills and all the, you know, planers and all that stuff. And on the weekends, he'd come home and, you know, you hear downstairs in the workshop just banging away and, you know, going along. And I never really understood until later on. I never saw anything come out. All he was doing was making sawdust, you know? But the funny part is I love playing with metal and beating and banging and cutting and welding and doing that. And it's the same thing. I just have a whole bunch of metal shavings, you know? I don't, you know, it's trying to work with that or learn or develop in that. And you know, when I get a chance to talk to guys like you or see your work, it's just amazing. And I'm honored that you give us a chance to learn a little more about you guys, and it's awesome. Just keep up the good work. One day I'll show up on your doorstep, steal some food, and I'll bring my hammers, and we can beat some stuff together.
Right, come on over.
Texas will welcome you. Come on.
Yeah. I can't wait. I mean, like I said, I'm really enjoy that, and hopefully, if I ever get anything back on the road, it won't be too lopsided when I'm been beaten on too much.
Right.
That's awesome.
I'm sure it'll be good.
So Keith has a lot of vehicles. Keith, give us a little update on your vehicles.
Update on my vehicles. They're still sitting there rotting away. But I have a 53 Buick that's I would like to. I don't know if I would like to chop it, but it does look really tall. But I just want to get that thing running and driving the first place. I need to do the interior in it. At least get some seats in there and drive around. It has a LS swap already.
Oh, nice.
So I got the whole drivetrain's done. Wiring's pretty much done. It just needs interior. Then I can drive around. So, but
sweet.
Yeah. It's
if you ever want to get it chopped, let me know. You know,
yeah. It's a 4-door, so that's, you know, I like, out of all the cars I have, I like working on that one the most because I don't care. I can do whatever I want to it. It has rust on it, and it's like the trunk is all bashed in, rusted, and there's no lock, and it just opens up. So I'm like, I want to get this trunk down. So I just bought those Jeep, the things that hold the hood for the Jeep down, I just four holes, drill it in, just boom, clicked it down. I go, there we go, trunk's fixed. I don't care. It holds the trunk closed. You know, the car is. You know, I can do whatever I want to it. I don't have to. I don't feel bad. You know, messing
It's
up
true.
some collectible
I don't know
car.
if it's true, but they
It's
say
just
that the 4-door is a little bit lighter.
Busted up a '53 Buick. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and I don't know if it's true, but they say that the 53
it's a super. So
it's lighter.
They're lighter.
Yeah, light in weight. That's what I've heard. I don't know if it's true.
Yeah, there's a neighbor down the street, and he has one that was a 4-door. I don't remember exactly what year, but it's within that range. And they chopped it. They did a pretty aggressive chop. It looks good. At first, I thought it was a Mercury, and as I got closer, I was like, no, that's a Chevy. And I started talking. The guy had it at a Cars and Coffee, and I'm like, wait a minute, you're my neighbor. But anyways, yeah, he was telling me it was a 4-door, and then he was showing me where they welded it shut, and then they lengthened the front door. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, I can see it. You know,
he turned it to a 2-door?
Yeah, he turned it to a 2-door.
Yeah, there's a guy, DD Speed, I think, from in Canada. He's been doing a lot of conversions. You take he's doing it on Chevys. You take the Chevy regular 2-door, you get a pair of doors, and then you take the back door, you cut the back door, and that becomes the back. And you just he moved the pillar, moved the center pillar over and stuff like that, and it looks like a 2-door.
I'll have to see.
Yeah,
I'll have to see if I still have my pictures that I took of it at the Cars and Coffee. I could have taken a picture today. I was running up to the steel yard to get some stuff I'm still working on my fence. And as I went by, he was pounding on something and had his welder out, and he had his car out in the front. He was working on something in the garage, but he had the car out in front. And I was like, oh man. I was like, I gotta do what I gotta do.
Yeah. No, to me, the 4-door, like the 55, the 57, the 4-door roof always looks a little bit nicer than the 2-door. For some reason, it looks a little bit slicker. So, I could see why they would make a 2-door out of a 4-door.
Out of a 4-door, yeah.
Just because of that roof line, it's so nice.
Do you think they're the same length? They can't be, right?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think the roofs are actually longer on the 4-door than it is on a 2-door, but they just look weird on a 2-door for some reason.
They look more bubbly. They try to, they try to get that line going, but they have to end it because they're coming to the,
to the trunk.
The trunk. I know what you're talking about. It does look a little more bubbly or whatever.
That makes sense.
So,
I know the guy down the street, he was saying, because I asked why he chose to do that with that, and he said he always wanted a 2-door. He said, but he found the 4-door and it was cheap.
Yep.
And I said that makes 100% sense. I said, in fact, I told him, I said, in fact, now that I've seen your car and what you've done to it, I said I've come across 4-doors and they were cheaper, and I was like, I don't want a 4-door, I want a 2-door. But now that I've seen your car, now I wish I grabbed every one of those 4-doors I've seen before.
Right, I know. Now they're selling for high now.
Yeah, because everybody's starting to do 4-doors now too, because they ran out of 2-doors.
Yeah, you can't find a 2-door unless you're going to pay big bucks.
Yeah, so a lot of people are running. They're starting to build the 2-doors. I mean the 4-doors.
The 4-doors. No, that's true.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all knew, but we started doing chop classes. I've got one set up in September in Angleton, Texas, at a shop called Dirty Leg Inc. And they invited us out there to go chop a 1950 Ford shoebox. So we're going to be out there in September. And then I've just put some flyers out because I really want to reach out to everybody everywhere and just say that we can travel if we have to. If you guys want to do a chop in Texas, we're more than welcome it. We really want to get out there and just try to teach as much stuff as we can, not just on the show, but also on the road.
Nice. Yep.
Wait, on the road, come to Florida?
Oh, I'll definitely come to Florida.
Come to Florida.
I haven't been to Florida.
Yeah, I've never been.
Yeah, come chop my 53.
Yeah, no, it'd be great. It'd be great.
We can set it up, Keith. We can set it up.
Yeah.
When you want it done.
I don't know. I get so many other projects. I just want to drive the stupid thing. I want to be able to take it out and go to shows with it and just, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Before winter. I mean, right now I'm not gonna. There's no AC in it, and it's like 1,000 degrees here. Like it is everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
So, fall and winter is when I would take it out. So that's what I got to shoot for, just so I can take it out. Anywhere.
So I got 30 days left for work, and I'm retiring.
Nice.
So,
Wow.
All right.
Then I'll be going full, So I'll be going full 100% with planning traffic and my media company. So I'll be able to help people. Anything you need to get out, I'll be able to do it. A little more full
Right
time.
here.
Yeah. That's my love. This is my love stuff. So
I'll hit you up.
So yeah, I'm be hitting it pretty hard because I'm scared I might not be able to eat. So I got to keep it moving.
Right.
No, I will hit you up on the media though, because that is, one thing along with the juggle. I'm trying to help him here in the shop, and then doing the editing, and then just all life, like in general, like every aspect. Like it's a lot. Like even like trying to reach out to people, like it's so time consuming.
It really is, and it's hard too because you got to, it's hard to get a hold of people. You got to email them. You don't know if they got it. You got to wait for them to email you back. Like I'm terrible with emails. I just was going through my email. I was like, oh man, I missed a couple things where I should have been there. And that's another thing. I'll be able to be on track. Yeah, be on it. Yep. But it's a hustle, man. It's a full blown hustle, and I can't wait to do it. Do it the right way, and not have the regular job. And then everything else is secondary.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, regular jobs, they get in the way of all the fun stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want pain in the neck.
Messing up the flow.
Right, I know. I know it's hard. I always tell everybody, I just have a playground and I come and I play all day, and now I play all night, and and then go home, take a shower, and do it again tomorrow.
Yeah. People think when you have your own business that it's going to be easier, and it's way opposite than that. Yeah.
No, it really is. It really is, because I remember, I'd be like, man, I just don't want to be a 9-to-5er. I don't want to be a 9-to-5er. And then, like 2 years of working straight, it's like, man, 9-to-5 don't sound so bad.
5 o'clock. 5 o'clock, you're done, right? 5 o'clock, you're done. You don't have to keep doing it.
But you know what? I've met a guy that he has his own business, and he actually shuts down. He says, my body and my rest is just as important as the business. So when he gets to 5 o'clock, he's like, shut down. And he was like, we got stuff to do. Nope. My health is more important. So he shuts down.
That's true. We did talk about, we would like maybe to one point, maybe like to work, so like maybe 10 months, 9 to 10 months, but then to really like maybe around holiday time, really kind of like shut it down.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for, it's just me and him right now. Of course, we could try to do that, but, to sit there and enjoy time with the family, enjoy seeing the world, and not, putting that off also.
Yep. And that's my plan. We're going to travel around. I'll do my car stuff. I can do it from the bus, you know what I mean? And just let my body reset and take advantage of our country, because our country is really a beautiful place.
Yeah.
And it's too small not to see it all. Like it's too small, really, for people not to get out there and see it.
Once you go out there and,
Yep. So 31 days. I'm not leaving in 31 days, but my brain will be open, be wide open.
Right? You get to relax a little bit.
Yeah.
It'll be great.
How many years have you been doing that job?
15.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Nice.
I was self-employed for 30. So for the 15, that was, I had to eat.
Yep. Is there like a pension or anything you get from there?
Yeah, but I can't collect it because I'm leaving early. I'm 55. I will turn 55 on the 22nd. So I gotta float my way for 7 years till I get my pension.
Oh, okay.
You'll
But
have
I also changed my whole lifestyle. I have all my toys. I have everything I need. So I changed my whole everything. My budget's real small now. You know what I mean? Everything's paid off.
Yeah.
So I can do this because I changed my lifestyle. I had big cars and condo. Got rid of all that stuff. I'd rather spend time with the wife, see the land.
It is true. When me and Laura lived with Gene, we lived in his backyard. Basically, we lived in a junkyard in the RV, which is kind of like a dream come true.
But we got rid of everything, the house, you know what I mean? We got rid of everything. But then we realized, with so little, we were the happiest we'd ever been.
We were the happiest we'd ever been with the least amount of things we'd ever had.
And it's crazy. We get caught up in, think about the world is tricked into saying, I have to keep working until I'm too sick to do anything.
Right. Right.
Exactly.
And it's all for stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It really is.
We're working for stuff.
Yeah.
Working for stuff.
It really is.
And that's why we like the motorhome for us, when we finish it in California, because then we can take our home wherever we want it to be, and we're not fixated in one single place.
Right.
I'm still begging for my 632. I figure a motorhome with the 632 would, run decent. Maybe it'll help me get up the hill.
Yeah.
He said he wanted to put a Nelson racing engine in our motorhome.
It's twin turbo because it needs some gas mileage.
Yeah.
Hey, have you seen the Ring Brothers Winnebago?
No, I haven't.
You have to YouTube it. They got an old Winnebago. It's like a 75 or something.
Is it like a Brave or something? I think it's like a Brave, like one of those. I used to have one.
It's a box.
Yeah, it looks like a box.
Like one like this little play one.
Yeah, and I don't know what, I think it's 1,000 horse in it. I mean, it's a beast.
Jeez.
Wow. That's super cool.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah, I seen him one year at SEMA, and when he was on the show, we were talking about it. And he said one of his buddies, they were thinking about getting one, and one of his buddies was at an auction. He goes, "Oh, I got you an RV. I got you a Winnebago." He goes, "Okay." He said when they brought it, he goes, "Oh my God, what are we gonna do with this junk?" He said it was all messed up, but they put a big motor in it. The drivetrain is a monster.
Didn't they lower it or airbag it or something like that?
Yeah, I think airbagged it.
Yeah.
Wow.
You got to YouTube it, man. It's funny. They got it going down the track. They run it. I forget what you said it ran, but
that's wild.
I have to check it out. That's awesome.
I don't know if that's funny, but then also who made what's that guy? Oh, Farm Truck and Asian. They made a trail. Well, they took a trailer and just put it over some.
Oh, okay.
Frame.
Yeah,
have you seen that? And it's driving around. Looks like a pole behind trailer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the one that looks like the trailer got free.
Yeah, those are funny. Yeah, because he's sitting there with a car and then the trailer, and then all of a sudden the car pulls off, whatever, and the trailer keeps going. Everyone's like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah, I got to get them on the show. Every time I see them, I talk to them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll come on," but we just haven't hooked up yet to get them on here. But I have a long list of people who want to come on, but it's just time. Everybody's time is really finicky, so we'll get all those guys on.
Yeah,
definitely.
Nice.
Yep. But hey, I still have to be an adult in the morning and go to my 9 to 5, or actually, mine is 5 to 12:30. I got 2 years.
5.
Nice.
Only for 30 more days.
30 more. I'm out.
Yep.
So hey, Alan, you can stay on if you want. You can hang out with the fellas. So everybody in the chat room, please go check out Alan's YouTube channel and check us out on PowerTube TV. That's where you can find all the good stuff. Plan and Traffic, and you get you get swag. You can get swag on planandtraffic.com too. You can get a cup or a hat or T-shirt. That helps us not get skinny here on the channel. So feel free to buy a hat or something or a keychain, whatever you need. So hey, Alan, thanks for coming on. I appreciate you, bro. And
yes, sir. Thank you.
And you need anything, hit me up. And you got to remind me because my brain's like going south. So if you need anything, let me know, and I can try to help. And I'll let you know on some other stuff that we talked about earlier.
Are you gonna
Sounds
take
good.
it off live?
Appreciate you.
Okay, take care.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it off live because
Take it off live because
nobody
Gray's not
else-
here to do it. Yeah.
nobody else can cut it off.
Because we don't know what's gonna happen next. We don't know what we're gonna say.
Right. Yeah.
All right, guys.
I'll be hanging
I'm
from
going
the
to let
fan
y'all
in a
go
minute.
because I get to get back to work. And
All right, Alan. Appreciate you.
All
All right, take care.
All
Yes,
right,
sir.
bye, everybody.
Yeah. Take care.
You guys.
Great talking to you guys.
All right. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Lewis.
You cut the stream off. I think you guys can stay on, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, we can stay on.